Hello everyone, just had a slurp of coffee there. So I just thought I'd drop in and talk about my next drawing. I've actually already started mine and completely forgot the intro, so here we are doing it now. So today we're going to be doing a squirrel. Sorry, it's just gone off my screen. We're going to be doing this one, which I think you'll agree is a lovely photo. So this will be quite an in-depth one. So yeah, I'm going to be putting in quite a lot of detail with this one. I'm going to be working on the drafting film as well. I think that'd be the best surface for this one. If you don't have the drafting film, you can by all means use paper, but the techniques that I use might be a bit different on a paper surface. But of course, if that's what you have, then do so, use that. I'm using the Graffix drafting film, which is matte both sides. So if you're new to drafting film, that means you can work on both sides of the film, and it's just my preferred one that I use. So but if you've got a different type of film, don't worry, you can still use it and hopefully enjoy the drawing. So I'll add the line art and all the pencils that I use in each video, and if you follow me, you'll know how I work, you know what my videos are about, and this will be exactly the same. So with all that being said, I think that's all I need to add. Quite simple really. If you do have any questions, do just drop them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, I think that's all I need to say, and I hope you join me, and I'll see you on the drawing board or at the drawing board. Okay, so let's get started. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the intro or at the beginning of the video, but I've got my line drawing underneath on the transfer paper, and then I've got the drafting film on top. I'm using the Graffix drafting film, and this is the matte both sides, so that means I can work either side of the film if I wish to. Like with round the eye, it might be handy to just darken it up on the reverse side. So yeah, I've not worked on drafting film for a little while, so it'd be nice to get back to it and have some fun. So as always, I think the best place to start is with the eye. I've got the dark sepia in my hand, the Polychromes, and I'm just going to get the shape of the eye in, and then we can start filling in the eyeball and have some fun. So let's get started. Just going to get the shape of the eye, just using nice light pressure. Although we've got the line art underneath, we need to still make sure that we've got the right shape. Like coming down here, looking at the reference photo, it needs to come down just a bit more than what the line art is doing. Only slightly, but sort of droops down at the side here if you look at the picture there. It seems very minor, but these little things make all the difference. Okay, I think I'm quite happy with that. Also got my little mono rubber to hand. We'll be using that on and off as well, so just going to tidy that up a little bit. So as this photo is extra sharp, it's a really good reference photo, I thought this would be a good one to really get stuck into the detail and you know, put in as much detail as we want or as little as we want. It's totally up to you. But like with the eye, we've got such a lovely eye, it would be nice to really focus on it and put in as much detail. So I'm quite happy with the shape of my eye now, I think. So I'm going to work a bit on the outside of the eyelid, get a bit of that in, and then we can start filling on in the inside. Right, I'm now switching to the warm grey 2, and we're just going to work on the outside here. So I'm going to fill in all of this area. So basically the eyelid. And then just coming underneath here. Okay, now I think I'm going to switch to another colour. I've got the Warm Earth 5% in the Luminance. So we've got a little sort of warmy pinky coming down this side. So I'm going to put a bit of that in, and then obviously we need to darken it. So we've got the Warm Earth 5. I just want to put a dash of it in here. And then I'm going to switch to another brand of pencil. It's going to be a bit of switching between brands with this one. But it's just mainly because of the colours as well, really. So I've got the Pablo Cocoa. Now this colour I do use quite a lot. It's a nice brown colour. So where we've just done the warm grey 2, I'm going to now cover with the cocoa. Check the direction as well, obviously. I'm now switching to the sepia 10. Got a bit of purple in there, so I'm just going to use this to blend and just to put a bit of purple in. So I'm sort of doing round and round motions with a pencil. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my Pablo the Cocoa. I've actually just sharpened him up so I can put a bit more colour in. Just sharpened it just around the edges here of where the, you know, the down the bottom here. I just want to darken it up a bit more. And then as you go further out, you sort of taper off with the pencil. And then as it comes further around, it gets lighter. And it's quite dark down this side. And then just at the bottom here, I'm just going to darken it a bit more there. So where you can see it getting darker, just go over with the cocoa a bit more. We do need to darken it still. Just following the curve round. So I've now got the warm grey one. And I just want to do a bit more of the fur around the outside of the eye, and then we can start filling it in. So I'm just going to do this bit here. So the fur's coming across like this as we come further down the front. So we need to check direction of fur now because it's changing as we go around the eye. So I am going into the cocoa as well. It doesn't matter if it sort of merges in with the warm grey one here. We want it all to be flowing nice. Let's just do that little bit there. And then I'm going to get the burnt ochre, I think next would be good. Yeah, so I've got the burnt ochre here, a nice orange. I'm just going to put a little bit of that at the top here. I'm going to go back to that warmer 5. And I'm going over the burnt ochre a little bit, just to tone it down a little bit there. bring that over this side as well, actually. Okay, and then I'm going to get my tombow. I need to take a bit of that out. Let's clean my tombow off. And then we've got like a little white line between the two colours, so I'm just going to put that in. I'm just going to go back to the warm grey one and just go over that so it's not just a blank bit of film showing through. So I'm now going to go with the dark sepia. I'm going to concentrate around here, get this darkened up. I'm just going to fill some of that in. And then a little bit coming down the front here. It sort of tapers off. Okay, right, I think what we're going to do now, try and get this inside done. So I'm going to start getting the shape of the eyeball. So like in the corner here we've got a little bit of white, so I'm going to go around that. I'm going to stick with the sepia, dark sepia, because I'm going to darken it all up with the black in a bit anyway. Let's just shape this eyeball now. If we do go over the white bits, it's easy enough to take out. And then we've got a lighter bit in this corner. I think once we've got the eye in, the rest will be easy. This is probably the most concentration bit, maybe. Let's give that a brush. I've got a bit of pencil dust there. And I think we're now switched to the black because I'm quite happy with the shape of that. Okay, so I've got the black and I'm just going to go over the dark sepia now that I'm happy with it. I'm just going to go over the sepia in this corner just a bit with the black, just to darken it. I'm not using a lot of pressure, I'm just going over it just to darken the dark sepia there. Okay, that's my little dog making funny noises there. Right, so I've got the dark indigo here, and I'm going to start just making some reflection lights first. So the only way, you can just follow the reference photo and just put in what you see really. So we got what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in this bottom bit. Because that's quite dark down there, but we can also put reflections in by using the rubber. The drafting film's fantastic for doing eyes because you can get a nice shiny eye if you do it right. So we just take our time. You don't have to copy the photo exactly. Just put in as much as you want. I'm just going to fill in a bit around the top of the eye because there's a band of darkness here, so I'm going to put a bit more of that in with the dark indigo. So I'm just sort of filling in the darker areas at the moment to get the shape. Okay, let's come up the top a bit more. We've got a nice reflection up the top there, so that would be lovely to get in. I think we put a bit of indanthrane blue in there. Okay, well I think that's going to be my dark areas in. I'm just going to go around the corner bit here. I think I'm going to just let my dog out because she's fidgeting. Okay, I've just put her out. She likes to sleep on the bed, so I haven't got her distracting me now. I'm just going to put a bit more of the dark indigo up here. Okay, I think I'm going to go for that. So next then, I'm going to go with the cold grey one. I'm going to sharpen mine. So I've got the cold grey one, and I'm just going to fill in the spaces. Doesn't matter if you go into the dark indigo. I will put a bit down there actually. Okay, and then in here we've got the corner of his eye. I'm going to get the caput mortumm violet. I'll just put a bit in there. Just a tiny bit. Before I go any further, I just want to add another colour there. I added the warm 5, but I've just remembered if you look at the colours, the brownish orange would have been a better. I mean, they're quite similar, but this one's a bit more darker. So I'm just going to put a bit of the brownish orange over here. It just sits nice over the cocoa as well. Okay, right. Just put that in before I forgot. So I'm going to go to another colour now, the indanthrane blue. Back to the polychrome. I'm going to lightly come over here. Okay, then I'm going to go back to the cold grey one and just go over the indanthrane. There you are. I've lost my. I've got the cold grey one, and I just want to go over the indanthrane. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the black and go over the dark indigo now. So let's darken this up. So where I've gone over with the dark indigo, we're going to cover it with the black now. I'm going to give it a bit of a brush there. Just going to turn my light off a minute because of the shine. Let's see if it's light enough. Let's see how it goes. Sometimes the shine can get in the way when you're working on film. I'm still with the black, just darkening up the dark indigo. We can, if you're working on the matte both sides like me, we can go on the back to darken it further. Okay, I think that's looking okay. I'm going to get my tombow rubber now. And we're just going to lighten some areas with this. So you're kind of going a bit back and forward with this, but just clean my tombow. They get dirty very quickly because they're so small. You can use the slice tool as well, but I'm going to see if I can get away with it with the tombow. So I'm kind of using this like a white pencil, if you like. It's just putting those extra details in. Okay, I'm going to go back to the black. Just going in with my tombow just to add a little reflection down in the corner here. Okay, and then I think another good colour would be the Cold Grey Free, just to add some of that down here. We can brighten up these reflections in a minute with a white Pablo if need be. I think what I'm going to get now, what would be good, I'm going to go back to the dark indigo. I'm just going to do a bit more work to these reflections. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Delft blue just to give these a bit more of a colour. We've got quite a blue reflection up this side. Okay, and then I'm going to get my white Pablo. We've got some quite bright reflections up the top, so let's put them in. So it's quite sharp. bit down here. Okay, I think sometimes less is more as well. I don't want to overdo it. I've just got the black here. Just gonna do a final darken up. As I say, towards the end I'll probably flip it and just darken it on the other side a bit more. Okay, I think we've spent about an hour on that little eye already. But yeah, that's looking okay for now. I think what we'll do now is just start working around the eye. Yeah, we'll start doing the fur bit now. Right, so I've just put my light on as well, so hopefully that looks okay. Right, so let's start working on from the top of his head here, I think would be next. I've got the brown ochre 10% with the luminance. We've got the darker bit here, so I'm just going to go up to there. I'm just going to put this all in at the top. That's the only thing with drafted film and a light. It's quite a challenge to put the light in the right place where it doesn't make the film shine, and also not to blind me as well, so it's a bit of a challenge, but I think it's okay where it is. Okay, and we just come down to the corner of his eye here because it goes off that way, so we'll just do that bit for now. Actually, while I've got it, let's come the other side of the dark bit. We've got a dark bit here. I'm just going to come the other side. So now I've got brown ochre, a new colour with the polychrome. We've got like a brownish yellow coming through here, so I'm going to put a bit of this in. Now I'm going to switch back to the cocoa. I'm going to use this to sort of darken up. We've got these dark hairs coming through, and we will need to darken it further, but this is a good colour to put down first. So we've got a few different directions of fur here. So over here it's leaning over, and then it starts coming back down again. Just going to take it down to there. Let's come back this way. And then on the top of his head, it's quite dark. We've got lots of dark furs coming off, so I'm just going to put them in. So just change direction of fur sometimes, don't make it all go the same way because it won't look natural. So just sort of do slightly different changes of direction. And just do a few long ones coming off there. And we've got that little ear there, so we don't want to go over there. So I'll just take it up to the beginning of that ear. So I've got the burnt ochre here. I just want to revisit this little orange bit above his eye. I just put that in a bit more. Okay, I might put a bit of that around there as well while I've got it. Okay, I just want to come up to here now. So I've got the walnut brown. I've got a few long fur bits here. Okay, and I'm going to switch to the dark sepia. So being very light, I'm just sort of flicking my pencil. We don't want any harsh lines. I'm also holding my pencil up quite up the top so I've got more control. Just going to get my rubber back because I just want to, just giving it a clean there, I just want to shape this a bit better. So I'm just going to take a bit out, just above the orange bit there, just to take a bit out. That's better. And then I'm gonna just give that another clean. Do the same just here between the orange bit and the eyelid there. This is what I love about drafting film. It's so easy to just take it out. So it just shapes it a bit better. Give that a brush. Ooh. Got the warm grey 2 now, and I just want to fill in that lighter area. Just come in between those darker hairlines as well, it just softens it up. The warm grey 2 is quite a nice creamy grey, I use it quite a lot. I think while I've got the warm grey 2, I'm going to come underneath his eye. So it's coming this way. Probably not picking it up, but and then it's coming round. I think once we get this bottom bit in a little bit more, we can just make sure the top part of his eye's in well as well. Just framing it the right way, if that makes sense. I know what I mean anyway. Just want to make sure that the eye's all in the right place and it all looks okay. Okay, now I'm thinking of another colour as well. I'm throwing all the colours at this one. You can probably tell by now. I've got the violet grey in the Luminance. I put a little sticker on it because they're so similar to the sepia 10. It's quite a similar colour, so I put a little label on it. Sometimes if you've got the light on, it can they can look the same. So I've got the violet grey, and I'm going to use that around the eye a bit more. And then coming down, we've got a few extra fur lines coming across. That's working quite nicely, and up here as well. So if you're just starting out with drawing, you're probably thinking, why is she using purple? But when you've been drawing for some time, you see a lot more colours. To when you're starting out, you just sort of see the main colours, but after you've had a bit of practice, you see a lot more colours, and that's where you start getting more realism in your drawings. I think that colour's quite nice actually. I'm going to put that over the dark brown bits in places as well, just a little bit here and there. It kind of fills the gaps between the furs, makes it look fuller. And then we'll go back in with the dark sepia. So let's get the dark sepia back and let's just tidy that up a bit more. Just going to darken this bit. Make sure my focus is on where I'm working. I'm going to go back to my walnut brown, just do a bit more down here. Alright, so let's start coming down here a bit more. I'm going to go with the warm earth, sorry, the brown ochre 10%, and just get the outside of this bit in. That's the dark bit there, yeah. Just making sure I'm in the right place. I need to come up a bit further, I think. Judging by this bit, and then it comes round. So I needed to come up a bit higher there. And I think the warm earth 5 would be good to go over that. I've now got the cocoa. We need to start darkening under this bit. Going to darken under his eye a bit more as well. And then I'm just going to sort of come over, sort of like that, like a loop from his eyeball over the bottom of his eye. So we're creating sort of like a bottom lip, rather than just going straight down, sort of going up and round. Hopefully you know what I mean. Then we do the same up here. let's come back down the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to go around that with black again, just because I've gone over with a lighter colour, so I'm just going to tidy up around his eye a bit more again. Just got the dark sepia here, I just want to add a touch darker brown just in places. And then just in the corner here, just using very light pressure, I'm just sort of going over everything just to darken, especially in the corner here, it's quite dark. But I'm going to go over the bottom bit as well. I'm using very light pressure. But it will just darken it up some more. It just softens the edges of the eye as well, just makes it look more natural. I'm literally just touching the paper. I'm doing a really light layer of this just to slightly darken it, just so we haven't got any sharp edges coming around the eye. It's just all nice flowing. Okay, right, I think we can move on from here. So I'm going to start concentrating on the fur down here and coming up towards the ear. So I think the best colour would be to start with the warm grey 2. So just trying to work out what that mark is. So the fur's coming up towards the ear here. And it's slowly coming across. It's a lot shorter fur. going back and forth. I'm just trying to work out where we are on the cheek. So, right, this is the line I'm going to go up to. We've got a line coming down here. Now I've got the brown ochre 10, and I'm just going to put a bit more of this coming down. I'm going to put a little bit up the top here as well. I've now got the brownish orange, which I'm going to put in places. So we've got some coming over here towards the side. For some reason this is a bit scratchy, this pencil, so I keep turning it round. I seem to have a bit of a sharp point on it. Put some of that up here as well. That's going to be quite a nice colour, I think, to use. I've got the warm grey 5 now. I'm not sure this will be dark enough, but we'll give it a go. I'm going to take this up to the lighter bit of the under the eye as well. We can always lighten it a little bit with the rubber. Give that a brush. got the burnt ochre now, just going to add a bit more colour here. And then I'm going to add some walnut brown. So the fur here sort of comes across and then it starts to go down. It's very short fur. I'm going to switch to the dark sepia now. I can find it. Oh, there you are. I've got the dark sepia now. We've got that dark bit at the top of his eye. Just go over that a bit more. Just going to switch back to the walnut brown. Just want to darken it a bit here. That's it. And then I'm going to add a bit more of the walnut brown at the top of his eye as well. It just sort of warms it up a bit more. and a bit in here. And I'm just going in with the warm grey one. I'm just going to pretty much just soften the lighter areas, and then that'll probably be it for this video. I think we've pretty much got the eye bit in. I'm just using the warm grey one just to soften any harsh lines. I do actually want to bring this bit up a bit higher before we go. I'm just going to take a bit out with my rubber here, just a little bit, just to make it look a bit more like the reference photo there. That's it. I'll just go over with the warm grey one. And then if we use, I think we'll use the brownish orange just to colour that back in. I'm going to take a tiny bit more out. Yours might look absolutely fine, but I think I just came down a bit too much on mine. Okay, and then I just want to go back with my cocoa and just bring this a bit higher now. Okay, I think that's better. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the eye in. As I say, towards the end we might flip the film over and just darken it up a bit more if we wish to. But yeah, I think that's okay. I think what would be good would be maybe get his ears in next and just slowly work our way down.